Let's go, though, to my international panel because Donald Trump has today banned foreign nationals from 12 countries, along with partial bans on another 7. He was the president earlier.
The recent terror attack in Boulder, Colorado, has underscored the extreme dangers posed to our country by the entry of foreign nationals who are not properly vetted, as well as those who come here as temporary visitors and overstay their visas. We don't want them.
Joining me now, my international panel, Sky News contributor Kosha Gada and former Labor MP Michael Danby. Well, welcome to you both. I have to say, Michael, I'm pretty tough on this too. You know, I think this is a good idea. We've got 100,000 people in Australia left over from the old Rudd Gillard days when the boats just kept coming, who refuse to go back, and some of them come from countries like Iran that refuse to take them back. I think we should only ever give visas, tourist visas, working for any sort of visa, to people from countries that, if we have to deport them, will take them back.
I think that's a good idea, but what do you do with the people here now? Unfortunately, Australia has a very indulgent lawfare system where people can contest these kinds of things while they're here. They get a bridging visa and it's like endless before you get them out. Canada, by contrast, which is an equally sort of small L liberal regime, if you fail a court judgment, you have to go offshore and appeal. So I think the government should take this seriously. I hope we haven't got any people. Interestingly enough, Egypt wasn't on the president's list, and that bloke who did the terrible thing in Boulder, Colorado, was from Egypt. The Egyptian press is saying he's the Muslim Brother fanatic.
Right. Well, at least Egypt didn't take the Gazans like we took the Gazans, and we barely checked the Gazans. I mean, what do you think of this move? And constitutional challenge, is that likely?
Yes, so definitely anything Trump does is getting challenged, and that itself is a constitutional question. If random judges have the right to issue these nationwide injunctions, that's heating up. This is something he tried in his first term, and in 2018 there were 2 or 3 versions of it. The third version did go all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court held it and basically affirmed that the president and the executive branch do have broad authority as it relates to matters of immigration and national security. So long as you state it in the statute that that's what this is about, they ruled in favor of him. So that's going to help this time around because that's already been done. Now, this one is wider in scope. It has more countries. It has no expiration date. Those previous ones were short-term bans. So there are reasons why we do expect to see legal challenge. But he's on offense. The political mood has completely shifted. People are much more in his corner on the issue of immigration broadly. And so he is moving ahead.
And of course, the best defence is attack. I think he's struggling a little bit with the departure of Musk. He's got the big bill, which he says, Michael, it's a good thing. It's all the election commitments he made. I think probably there's some good things in there, but there's a hell of a lot of spending and big government. So he's changing the conversation.
He is, Peter, but it's the same problem as here and with the Victorian government. All levels, we've got unsustainable debt. I mean, the American economy can have its all kinds of problems caused by China refusing to keep buying American Treasury bonds to fund that debt. So they've got to address it sometime. I'm not saying they should cut it back now, but there are a lot of Republicans who will eventually stand up to the president on these kind of issues, not just Musk.
I want to play some vision. I think we've got it there to play for my audience. It's about this fight in the Parliament, the beehive, they call it in New Zealand, where Maori MPs disrupted a vote in the chamber. They did a haka. They were found in contempt of the chamber. One's been suspended for 21 days, the youngest one for 7 days, and then kicked off, Kosha, a whole fight about sovereignty and a whole range of things about the treaty. And if the treaty can be torn up by Maori MPs, then the Crown should leave New Zealand, and on it goes.
And so that constitutional question will be adjudicated in their system, I'm sure. It's always trendy. Every country has this faction of people who want their sovereignty and fight, whether it's the Quebecans in Canada or these folks here. But this kind of behavior never ages well. I don't think it's a good showing of anybody's cause, no matter what it is. But I think it's a reflection of just the culture right now, where especially the young generation, they just feel entitled that they can, in any forum, even Parliament, behave in that way, and they can do no wrong. So this put it on display, and it's not often that New Zealand is on the global map internationally, but this one put them there.
Now, I do note Jacinda Ardern's got a book out, and she says how the rest of the world loves her and she's not that popular at home. I don't think she's launching the book at home, and she's moving to the United States. Hey, let's talk about this China ban on critical minerals. This has got a lot of people worried, Michael.
Beijing says that it is working with the Europeans to speed up these kind of things, but half of the exports are held up in Chinese ports, particularly magnets, which you need in cars, which are some of parts of them are made from these rare earths. Australia's got a big role in this. Maybe that's why the Americans were leaning so hard on the Ukrainians. I haven't heard much of that critical minerals deal with the Ukrainians, but I do know of some people in Australia who are trying to extract minerals in Tasmania and West Australia, and I say all strength to their arms, and you should get onto the Indian and German auto manufacturers and see if we can get some of that stuff out to them.
Just quickly, Greta in Gaza. Do you think she's had her 15 minutes of fame?
I think so. I think she's suffering from relevance deprivation syndrome, and she's always trying to figure out how to insert herself into the topics that are relevant right now. And this one also is not going to age well. Her on a boat with a bunch of activists trying to dock into Gaza. Another example of young people who overestimate, I think, their value and what they bring to the table on these issues.
She's been so long on the sea, they'll run out of protein bars and milk, which is the small packages that they're bringing. It's just laughable, really.
A lot of young people on a boat going to Gaza just harks back to those kids there on that day at that dance party in the morning and what they have lived through.
Greta Thunberg has no imagination, no sympathy,
that's
no understanding.
The analogous memory there, I think, just hits home.
I think she's discrediting herself. People were as interested in the environment, which she's sort of seen as a Joan of Arc of the environment, but
not long gone.
She's getting narrower and narrower.